Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Art of Online Marketing live show. Today's topic is why you can and should create your own social media content. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Denise Allison, and I help entrepreneurs get more consistent and confident in their social media content and presence. All right, so I've been wanting to do this topic for a while because often I'll meet entrepreneurs and business owners who want someone to help them with their social media. And by help, I mean completely do every single thing for them. They just want to wash their hands of it and say, here, do this for me. Thank you. See ya. Get me some customers and we'll call it a day. And that is really not how it works. And if you have done that, well, it's probably not working for you. And we are going to look at some reasons why. So I do want to be transparent here and say that I do create content for clients. I do manage some clients' social media. And in all of those cases, the content ends up being way better the more they're able to give me. So if they're able to have some input, able to guide me on what topics they want to cover, and to give me a little bit more about what is going on in their brains. When they just leave you to creating anything that you want, that's where the wheels kind of fall off. So just be super. All right, so the preview shows that I'm frozen, so hopefully I'm not. All right, so it's unfrozen now, so let's keep going. Before I get started, I do want to let you know about an online training I'm having on June 12th, and that is called Make Friends, Not Followers, Attract Your Dream Customers with Social Media. So I'll be putting the link below in the comments so you can head over and sign up for that. It's going to be great. It's for anyone who wants to really be more intentional. Don't know why I'm making up so many words today. Anyone who wants to be more intentional with their social media and really use it to attract the right people to their business. All right, so let's get into today's topic, why you can and should create your own social media content. So number one is you are the expert and the social media manager or content writer is not. So you're the expert in what you do. That's why you do it. And a big part of your goals with social media is to demonstrate that to your audience. You want to show them that you know what you're talking about, you're an expert in this, and you can really help them overcome their problems. But if you put that entirely on the plate of somebody else, they don't really know what to say. It's not going to be effective in positioning your expertise. And really what they're going to do if you don't have any input into what they're creating is they're going to research topics related to your industry. They are going to write it up and then they're going to post it, but it's not going to be expertise. It's not going to be new information. It's going to be a little bit of what is already out there. So if you can really infuse your expertise into your content, that is really going to stand out and help you stand out as the expert. So your content is just way more effective when it's original content and not a rehash of 100 other posts that already exist out there on the internet, in the interwebs. So if it's coming directly from you, the expert, is just going to be so much more effective than if you have somebody else write that for you. So if you have someone who's going to post for you, that like one of the reasons that people want to hire a social media manager is they want to post more frequently, and that is a great goal. But it doesn't really mean anything, and it's really not going to be an advantage to you to post more frequently if the content that you're writing or the content that you're putting out there isn't great. So you would be much better off writing 3 amazing posts for social media where you're infusing your expertise and sharing all the things that you know and that are in your brain than hiring someone to post for you every single day and for that to not be great content. So it really is a quality over quantity situation. I know I say that a lot, but it is true. So It's better to have some really great content where you're sharing your expertise than having a whole bunch of so-so posts out there. So number one is you are the expert and the social media manager is not. And that expertise really only comes through if you are the one creating content and putting it out there. All right, number two is you have the passion and you have the perspective. So give me a like here if you are passionate about what you do. And I'm really hoping that you are saying, yes, yes, I'm passionate about what I do, because otherwise, why are you doing it? Now, that passion needs to come across in your social media content. Now, as much as if you have a social media manager or content writer, they are passionate about helping you. They're passionate about social media marketing. They're not necessarily passionate about mortgages and investments and the other types of things that some of my audience does. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not going to do their darndest to really help you write great content, but it's just not going to come through the same as if you put your hands in it and you really put your passion out there for what you do. It's never going to come across that way. And the second thing, this is one of the vital factors here, is that you have a particular perspective and point of view on your industry and on your field. And that means that there are topics and ideas that you feel very strongly about. And that is something that your social media manager can't research. They can't Google what you think or what some perspectives are, and they can't guess where you stand on those topics. So it really is important for you to take a side and to really draw a line in the sand for where you stand on particular topics. So this is going to be different in every industry, but there are some hot topics where you're on one side or the other. You don't want to be wishy-washy and in between and be like, oh, well, you can do this and that. You really do want to pick a side of the fence and go for it. And that is really going to help you stand out, and it's going to help you attract the people who believe the same thing as you, and it's going to repel the other people, which, again, I know we talk about this sometimes, but repelling people who don't stand for the same things as you is really a great thing, because it means that, one, you're not going to waste your time having consultation calls with them and find out that they're not the right fit for you. And you're also not going to end up in a horrible situation where you've decided to work together and see that you don't believe in the same things. So having a clear line, drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is what I believe about that, and really sharing your perspective and your point of view on the hot topics in your field, that is something that's really going to make your content stand out and rise above the rest. And that's not something that a social media manager can really do for you, because they don't know what you believe unless you are very involved in that content creation process, which in that case in point, like, do you really need someone to be doing that for you? So number two is your passion and your perspective for your industry. Number three is building relationships. Now, it's very possible that we talk about relationship building every single week, but I'm going to say it again for those in the back who might not have heard it the last 100 times. Social media is about building relationships, okay? And building meaningful relationships means that you need to be yourself and use your own voice. And to do that, you can't have someone writing it for you and doing that for you. So do you see the disconnect there of trying to sound authentically you and having someone else write that for you? It doesn't really work out the way that you want it to. So this is especially important if you are a personal brand or a solopreneur, which I know that a lot of my audience is, and most of my clients are. You are in the business of promoting you and yourself and your expertise. So to have someone go and create that content for you, it's really challenging to say, I am being authentically me while someone else is putting that out there, and is very difficult to capture another person's voice. So I like to think of it like this. So think about when you were in junior high and you had a crush on a boy, and you're like, oh, I'm too scared to talk to him, so I'm going to send my friend over to talk to him and ask him out for me. And it becomes really awkward because they might not really know who you are and what you're all about. And then you have this person trying to do the relationship building for you. Now, that is what I would say is the equivalent of having someone post in your name and communicate under your name, is really creating a disconnect there. And the more that you are able to do that and actually communicate with your audience, the better off you are, because one, they're actually getting to know you, and two, you are seeing what questions they're asking and what kind of things are coming up so that you can put that in your brain and address it. It might be something that you add into your offerings. It might be another post that you create. It could serve you in various ways in your business. But basically, if you want to build relationships, you need to be present to be able to do that. You can't just offhand it to somebody else. All right, so building relationships, number 3. All right, so that is why you can and should be creating your own social media content. It really is way more powerful if you are creating it yourself from your own mind. Now, not saying that it's not great to have help. You might have a staff person or a team member who is actually doing the posting for you, or you might have a social media manager who's doing the posting for you. But the more involved you can be in that process, the better the content is going to be. And it could also be that you just need help with someone who's going to help you pull those things out of your brain and help you turn that into content. Most of the challenges that I see is that entrepreneurs just aren't quite sure where to start and what to say when it comes to creating original content. So working with a social media strategist can really go a long way in helping you create the right content and getting consistent about posting it. All right, so thank you for being with me for another episode of the Art of Online Marketing live show. I will be back with a special guest on Thursday. And for anyone who hasn't signed up for Make Friends, Not Followers, the free online training, I'll be putting a link below and you can head over and sign up. That will be happening on June 12th. All right, thank you, and I'll see you all on Thursday.